So, normally this week would have been the episode St. Valentine's Day. An episode that is pretty gosh darn funny, but also creepy. But back on Valentine's Day, I already did that episode. So, if you're looking for that, there will be a link to the end card to get you there so you can get directly to next week. As far as this week is concerned, instead, I'm going to put a supplement video here, or more or less, a supplement rant. Will they, won't they relationships? It's a trope as old as, well, name any soap opera you've ever watched. Name any early harem anime or romantic anime you've ever watched. Even current day stuff. It's an annoying, mind inducing, want to take a hammer to my skull trope. And to me, Miraculous Ladybug is so bad at it that it almost becomes a joke within itself, so it stands on a throne of its own weird and wacky creation. But Koglioko, on the other hand, oh boy. That's the worst, boys. The all-time logical worst. In fact, it is the worst thing about Code Lyoko. Because practically, it takes a show that would have otherwise been pretty much character perfect and botches it up to a million miles an hour. What am I speaking of? The will they, won't they? The love triangle of all hideous love triangles. Warwick Stern, Yumi Ishiyama, William Dunbar. Now, back in season 1, Warwick and Yumi's will they, won't they was innocent enough. Little teases here, little teases there, maybe an off glance and a blush cheek. And then there's the kiss from routine. And the fact that it works bummed that Yumi dies for 5 seconds in Cruel Dilemma. It gets bad. And in season 2, spoilers ahead, for some of the episodes that we'll be talking about, it gets really bad. Yumi's secretism of herself being a Ryoka warrior is bad enough. Framing it under clear auric pretenses makes it worse. Added to the fact that Auric wants to just do the anime confession thing. Yumi just, in every situation, doesn't get the chance to hear him out, or doesn't want to talk about it because other things pop up. But when William Dunbar gets added to this already horrible will they, won't they, it becomes the love triangle. And that stuff is even worse. Especially when Oric and Yumi didn't really need this to add tension to their own relationship. But it wasn't for the fact that the parents are the most horrible parents on earth, both sides. The fact that Ulrich is so socially awkward when it comes to romance, he doesn't talk, and Yumi's a go-getter. There's already enough tension between just the two of them to keep the relationship things aflutter. But then when you add a useless do-nothing, only there to add flame to something that is already horribly badly written enough, it becomes the stuff of bad legend. See, the problem with William Dunbar is simply this. He's Yumi's male clone. Goth, wears black, extremely moody, extremely volatile, doesn't really care for much. The prototypical edgelord. Before edgelords became a standard. Before Shadow the Hedgehog and practically every other edgelord ever ruined it for everyone. Before the Twilight books were even written, this motherfucker ruined it for everyone. And oh yes, his ruination of this otherwise quaint, if not head-inducing relationship starts as soon as New Order and lasts all the way to the end of it. Even lasting all the way to the books, it seems. Yes, this train wreck transcends it all. And it's all bad. Especially when, spoiler alerts, William Dunbar flips sides. Although the idea that he ever had to flip sides and then be flipped back is an oxymoron in itself. William Dunbar, if he was going to cause this much havoc, not only for the team, but for the truly romantic couple, he should have been written and kept as an antagonist for the entire show length. Instead, the fact that he becomes one of the good guys, only not to be one of the good guys, and then becomes a good guy all over again, and the tension still remains, all the way in evolution, shows that this character is written terribly. And worse yet, when he's not being Sephiroth with Cloud's Buster Sword, he is the most uninteresting character that has ever been written in this show. And no, I'm not talking about the clone that Jeremy makes. No, he's just uninteresting altogether. And the only time he gets remotely interesting is when Ulrich Stern and Yumi are involved. Meaning he has one purpose: to put the obvious wedge between them to delay the romance until the end. And even then, the show gives us no solid they're together now at the end, which is absolutely worse, at least miraculous, even though them finally being together is totally based on a total lie and fabrication and a promise that Marinette has to keep that will keep the show dragging on for 3 seasons more. At least we got the romance there. In Code Lyoko, there is no romance. And even if there was one, I feel that Ulrich and Yumi would end up at the same path as Jeremy and Aelita. Toxic, broken, over, quick. If not for the lack of family dynamic between the two of them, and trust me, their families would clash. Ulrich's father is a super perfectionist that won't settle for anything less. Yumi's father and mother, especially father, are overprotective. Hiroki seems to be the only one that seems to have any brains in his head. And he's the younger, annoying brother type. That's how bad it literally is. Sure, it's not as toxic as Jeremy and Aelita's relationship. And if you want me to make a video on that, all you have to do is tell me, tweet me, or just watch and respond to this video. It's really bad. Not only is this love triangle, especially near the later end, just a giant waste of time. It amounts to nothing. We're constantly being teased for something that should be obvious. It's obvious when they first laid eyes on each other in Xana Awakens. It's the most no duh you ship it thing in the history of God's green earth. And let's say in season 1, they do exactly that. They ship it. But William Dunbar gets in the way of the relationship that has already blossomed into dating, which causes conflict about whether Yumi should be in a relationship far too early. This would add actual credence to Yumi's dad sniffing around, seeing that he's got two guys after his daughter and one is coming home. What about this other one? You see, that's how you create tension with a triangle, by having the relationship already exist and blossom, and then you throw out option B, not this garbage. And if you really wanted to throw William Dunbar as the option B, write William Dunbar better. Make him a fully 3D character. Get him involved in the Leoka Warrior stuff in season 2. Not 3, not 4, 2. They waited too long for William Dunbar to become a thing in this show. If he's supposed to be a wrench in this otherwise perfectly constructed team of 5, then the best way to have the wrench actually mess with it is get him involved early and not use the return to the past to get rid of it. Have him involved. But they were too stupid to react, and they missed the boat. So not only does William turn out to be worse, the entire relationship turns out to be worse. Mainly because it wasn't written with any foresight. When writing a romantic relationship, you gotta know where A, B, and C actually land. And you've got to make both characters in 3D, if not 4D, because not only are you writing their feelings, their individual choices, and everything they're about, you're also writing the dynamic, how the couple actually gets along together, how they bounce off words, What are their philosophies when they're forced together? And most importantly, is one harming the other with the other's actions? Something that repeatedly Ulrich and Yumi do to each other over and over again. As sweet as the relationship might sound, there are too many things in the writing dialogue that tells you fairy tale it might be, but it's not meant to be. St. Valentine's Day is the holiday of love, and it's funny. Aelita was already thinking those two should have done something, but they didn't. They never did, hun. And thank God we never got the conclusion, because it would have ended up more toxic than we could have ever believed. Ulrich and Yumi, at least to me, is one of the worst relationships I've seen in fiction. And trust me, if I really wanted to go down this rabbit hole, I could find worse. Just this one has annoyed me the most. So, do you side with me? Tell me in the comments or tell me on X. Just use the at Ryoko Spark at just use at Nirvana Sparkle on X to chat with me. I would love a Twitter thread or even a direct message. That's the easiest way to get to me. And if you want that Jeremy Aelita supplement, please tell me. Until next week when we get back on proper track with Final Mix. I'm Nirvana Sparkle. Find peace in your home, Nirvana. I'll see you next week.